1903 was cross-country introduced as an international sport, and from then until 1962, it was dominated by three countries: Great Britain, France and Belgium. 1960 was the first breakthrough when Rabi of Morocco won an international race of importance. And from then until today, the strength of the sport has been global. The World Championships began in '73. Norway's Greta Weitz has won 5 titles, regarded as one of the sport's great competitors. She's also a marathon star. Mara Chichipuicha won in '82 and '84. She also won a 3,000 metres Olympic title. ZOLA of South Africa, back-to-back world titles in '85 and '86, running barefoot. From France, Annette Sargent, the winner in '87 and '89. Norway's Ingrid Kristiansen won in the heat of Auckland in '88. The men, too, have produced a global list of world champions, showing the trend in the sport. Ireland's John Treacy won in the mud in Limerick in front of his home crowd and took a second title in '79. Lopes of Portugal won 3 world titles in 9 years. Craig Virgin was another famous mudlark and loved the conditions in '80 and '81. But possibly the greatest world champ of all is John Ngugi, leader of the new age of runners, with titles in '86, '87, '88 and '89. The first of the series was in Bolby, France. It showed that the Europeans again may be in for lean pickings, as it was dominated by the Kenyans. However, in the second, Britain's Eamon Martin just loved the wind and rain and mud at Belfast and won by 11 seconds. The Kenyans hung on in the terrible conditions with Ngugi second. Martin took the conditions in his stride and proved the Kenyans could be beaten. In Limerick, the conditions were even worse and proved how formidable the Kenyans are and how adaptable they can be. Ondoro kicked for home at the right time and won by 9 seconds. Coogan of USA second and another Kenyan, Kanuti, third. In Spain, teams from Argentina and Ethiopia joined the cross-country touring circus and added to a field of great talent on a fast, flat course. Yet it was the Kenyans again, Vittore getting his first international win from Ngumi, with the Argentinian Salilo third. It was a good performance from Salilo. It was his third time in third place in international starts. Abibi of Ethiopia was fourth. The last race of the series proved the best. The Italian winter weather proved ideal for the race, and the best turned out. 3 African runners, Skah, Abibi and Mutual, broke away, setting a blistering pace. With 100 metres to go, it was down to Abibi and Skah. Abibi had been the workhorse for most of the race, but still looked strong. Around the final bend, and the young Moroccan, with a push, burst past Abibi and powered on. Abibi pushed hard again, but Skah had timed his run to perfection. The finish, and Skah the champion on this day, but watch as a protesting Abibi seems to want to have a chat about things with the Moroccan. The overall standing of the first challenge series, Abibi on top with 89, 2 Kenyans in behind, Knuckle, the lone European, in the top 5, Salilo of Argentina, the first South American to break through, but the big story in those standings, 5 Kenyans in the top 8, a dominance that looks set to continue. And the highlight of the season was the actual World Championship at Antwerp. New Zealand was there, but alas, a long way off the pace and seemingly fading quickly. At this year's World Champs in Antwerp, the big question to be answered was, could the Europeans turn back the African tide that looked as if it would swamp the event? Pre-race favourite was Skah of Morocco, who agreed with the critics he would win, and win easily. The Kenyans were ready to strike. 51 countries took part. New Zealand was in there as well. A third of the race over, and the Kenyans were there in force. Tanui, Karori, Chalimo, Onduro, Naomi, with favourite Skah and the Moroccan Khalili, no Europeans in sight. The first to show out was Simo Karori of Kenya. He broke from the group. But then in the last third of the race, Skah took the lead. He looked in control, but then up the inside with 300 yards to go came Karori again, taking them all by surprise. Skah then came back, showing just what a superb runner he was, taking charge over the last bite of the race, covering his challenges and going on to a marvellous win, a predicted victory. The Kenyans still there in force. Skah, Morocco first, followed by 5 Kenyans and Khalili of Ethiopia. In the teams, Kenyans first, Ethiopia second. The Europeans fill the next 3 places, but not one runner in the top 10. The African dominance in the sport is even more pronounced. The big question at the start of this race was, could the Kenyans, like their men, win the team's title? It would be the first time for the women if this happened. Halfway through the race and the predictions were proven. 3 Kenyans in the top 9 runners leading the big field. But watch the runner in the blue on the outside, number 324 Jennings from the United States. The winner last year, she has timed her program for this one big race. At the end of a hard race, the Kenyans have dropped off. Tulu of Morocco is challenging Jennings of America, who's run a fine race. Jennings, as she did last year, wins the title and joins the famous group of women who've won the title twice. Tulu of Morocco is second, while the strong finishing McColgan of Great Britain is third. So there it is, Jennings, Tulu, McColgan, Visak, Ngoso. Which means that the Kenyans have won their first women's team title. Now, a complete African dominance of the sport. As I said, the New Zealand teams were there at the World Champs, but both the men's and the women's team finishing well off the pace, just inside the top 20. John Davies, what happened to our Kiwi team?
It was really bad luck. A lot of them got the flu, over 11 of them, and that really knocked the heart out of them. It was a really bad flu that put a number of them in bed for several days, so that was tough. But the other thing we're looking at is also preparing for the race, getting them up there so they don't go from our warm summer and spend several weeks in a very cold winter. The idea we're now looking at is perhaps sending them to the south of Spain, where it's warm on the Mediterranean coast. They can do their winter-type training, if you like, in not such cold atmosphere and go into the race, say, the day before.
All of which brings us back to New Zealand and the 1991 National Cross-Country Champs in Invercargill here. The Alliance Freezing Works grounds is a lovely setting, green rolling pastures. The only trouble is that the amount of rain and sleet and hail in recent weeks here has made it not only cold, but the surface has broken up very badly. So it's going to favour not the quickest, but the toughest runners who can stick it out in true cross-country style. Ready for a start in the women's race. The Auckland contingent on the right of your picture, they're expected to dominate. 2 laps of 3,000 metres, 6K. And this course has cut up very, very badly indeed with the veterans and junior races early in the day. Several pieces of it, very, very muddy indeed. It's going to be the strong runners out there. Sarah Hunnett, Raywin O'Donnell, Sharon, Clode, Marie Turner, Fiona McKee, all picked as favourites here. That's Fiona McKee of Otago out there in front. Sharon Clode in behind her. Raywin O'Donnell, the tall blonde-haired woman in third place. And then Marie Turner, 232 from Auckland. Go back then to Leanne Durry, Michelle McSorley, Lisa Pollock, Stacey Madgwick. these three at the moment. Fiona McKee being picked up now. Sarah Harnett coming up on the inside. Sharon Clode looking strong on the outside there. Raywin O'Donnell starting to drop back a little as they approach this fence. That's where it's going to be tough for some of them too. The landings and the approaches to those hurdles. Sharon Clode starting to pick up the pace a little now, decided to take it to them. She's got Marie Turner with her. And you can see in the back of the picture there, Raywin O'Donnell, tall blonde-haired woman from Auckland, starting to drop back a little now. Sarah Harnett starting to drop off the pace. It's Sharon Clode who was looking the strongest. Sarah Harnett and Raywin O'Donnell. O'Donnell goes past Harnett. And now Fiona McKee has dropped right off the pace. They seem to be out the back door there. Stacey Madgwick, 229 from Auckland, battling away in 5th place.
Go on, Sharon!
But this is where the race is at. Sharon Clode and Marie Turner, the two Aucklanders supporting each other. They've had a bit of a battle. Marie Turner has led a couple of times in this race. Clode has taken it back from her. Approaching the finish straight now. 2 laps of 3,000 metres in this mud has really taken it out of them. It's been a tough race. The smoke-free national championships. Raywin O'Donnell dropping back in 3rd. Still running solidly, but not looking like challenging them. Sarah Harnett back in 4th. And that looks as though it's the way they'll finish. Sharon Clode comes in to win the 1991 senior women's title in cross-country from Marie Turner, also of Auckland. And Raywin O'Donnell coming in looking absolutely exhausted in 3rd place ahead of Sarah Harnett of Canterbury in 4th. And that shot of the mud there tells the story of just what a battle it's been in these conditions.
Marie dropped me over the back. She had about a 2-metre lead on me, and I really pushed it up the hill to get back on her. And then I just really worked the back of the course and got about a 1-metre break, and then I got to 2, and she got back on me, and then I got another 5 metres, and that was it.
Was there any place in there where you felt that you should have a go, that now was the time?
Well, I kept on thinking that, and I kept on thinking, right, now, and it was just a matter of trying to get going faster.
How hard is it to try and kick away in those conditions?
It is. It's like running on ice and bare feet kind of thing. Yeah, it's just so gluggy and quite hard to get moving.
Red hot favourite in the men's competition, Peter Renner of Canterbury, after a very strong season of cross-country. His major challenger should be Phil Clode of Auckland, fresh back from a season on the track in Europe. Ready for a start in the men. 4 laps of 3,000 metres on this very tough course.
12,000-metre event.
Not hard in terms of the terrain, just tough in terms of the conditions that the terrain has been left in after several weeks of heavy rain, particularly in the last couple of days. Hail and rain, and the runners before them today have left dreadfully muddy conditions. And look at Renner showing the history of steeplechasing as he hurdles without any problem at all. Richard Potts up there with Clode and Peter Renner as well. Then go back to Rex Wilson in the black singlet from Waikato. Still Renner leading and looking strong at this stage. Potts up to 2nd place. Some tired legs out there. Into the 2nd lap now. And Richard Potts is starting to pull away. This young guy, first year in senior competition from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne area. And my, doesn't he look strong? The battle back there with Rex Wilson, Rob Mulcahy, Brian Gillett, Jason Cameron, Michael Johnson. That's the order back behind this group of 3. But it's Richard Potts leading Peter Renner and Phil Clode in 3rd place. Clode was picked as the favourite here. His light frame and his sharp form, having been on the track recently in Europe, made him a favourite along with Renner. But this youngster, Richard Potts, is taking it to them. Once again, Renner seems to excel when it comes to the hurdles. Phil Clode expressed some reservations earlier this morning about these hurdles in these conditions. With Mulcahy and Gillett come in 5th and 6th place there. It's this group of three, though, that are going to dominate this race. And Renner is dropping off. Renner looking very, very tired indeed. His stride is not strong anymore, and Potts and Clode are taking it away. Rex Wilson on his own in 4th place, sorry. Renner may drop back into his clutches. And then this is Gillett, Mulcahy, Cameron and Johnson. And back with a big gap to the rest of the field. They are 6th, 7th and 8th places. The mud getting worse. And look at Richard Potts now. He looks to have broken Phil Clode. The youngster in hot form here. And Renner dropping right off the pace. Being caught now by Rex Wilson. And down the final track, the downhill, which will lead them to the home straight. Richard Potts from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, ahead of Phil Clode of Auckland. And these two have cleared away. Potts seems to have broken Clode's resolve. Richard Potts, doesn't he look strong? Approaching the finish, looking very cocky indeed. He was only picked as an outsider. That's Peter Renner's wife and family, not looking too happy about Dad's demise in this national championship. And look at those conditions. Absolute punch. And here he comes in the home straight. Richard Potts, who's going to win comfortably in the end from Phil Clode. First year in senior competition. Richard Potts takes it away, and he's pleased, as you can see. Phil Clode had nothing left.
Good one.
And Peter Renner will be a distant third ahead of Rex Wilson. Well done, Richard Potts.
For 2 laps to go, I took off and Phil was just behind me. I was more thinking of Renner, trying to get away from Renner and Rex. But when I got to the same point with about a K to go, I thought I was do or die here, take off, and knew Phil was behind me, and I just dug it in all the way. Yeah.
When you came here today, did you think you had a chance of winning it?
I was aiming for top 10. I mean, Dad got 12th his first year running senior, so I just wanted to get in top 10, try and beat him. But no, I knew I was probably good enough to be top 5 at least, so I was unwrapped.
Richard put a surge in along the top here. Obviously, he had orders to do that, and the first time I caught back up to him along the flat here, and the last time when he did it, I was waiting to do it to him, and he did it to me. And I didn't have anything left. So.
Tony Palmer at the National Cross Country Championships. Congratulations to Sharon Clode and also Richard Potts, champions in '91. Those amazing Kenyans dominating international cross country. A brief glimpse you may have saw of the great...
And which